Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Critics of President Trump may see the public impeachment hearings as damning and devastating for the president. But Trump supporters, not so much. This is the deeply red panhandle of the key battleground state of Florida. Trump voters we talk to say either they don't care or they aren't watching. Have you been following the proceedings at all?
No, sir, I have not.
By choice?
By choice.
I want to see Congress get back to work on the people's business.
In Pensacola, pro and anti-Trump protests draw fewer than 30 people total.
Yeah, people don't care. I think they live in this very myopic world where I think everybody's paying attention. I don't think a lot of people care. Trump voters have already made up their mind. People who aren't going to vote for Trump already made up their mind. There's a few states that are going to be big and in play this year. I think Arizona may be in play. It's going to be a tough place for Trump to do well, oddly enough. Even though it was supposedly a red state, it's now becoming more and more of a purple state than anything else. That may be in play. That includes the Senate and a few other things. But then you've got to look at a lot of these other swing states. How much is this really affecting people? It's one of those things where Trump evokes all kinds of emotion for people. Very few people are independent-minded enough where they look around and go, nah. They've made up their mind, right? They've made up their mind. And because of that, they're either not paying attention or they think it's all a game and they just don't care.
What is history to others elsewhere is political ho-hum here.
I did watch it the first day, a little bit.
She wasn't impressed.
It's hard to watch it. In fact, I'm not watching it anymore.
And I just think they're not going to change my mind how I feel about him.
Whether it's an accusation of quid pro quo or bribery, no amount of witnesses or testimony, they say, will change their support for the president.
It's just a political show. He hasn't done anything wrong. We've read all the information.
Yeah. And remember, this is not about, as far as they're concerned, politics or whether or not he did something wrong. They think, oh, you're coming after my president. So I'm going to protect my president, the person I vote for. I like him. I love him. I'm going to protect him. So that's that. So they can talk about all kinds of things. But, you know, you've got the debate. Did he do something wrong? Didn't he do something wrong? Well, obviously, he's done some stuff that are extremely uncomfortable, including emails that have now been released or supposedly come from the Washington Post that, hey, they were trying to figure out how they went about this entire thing with the Ukraine, where they're looking around saying to themselves, how do we frame this? Is this even right? Can we frame this in another way? Is it possible for us to frame this in a way? So there's a lot of stuff here where you're looking at it and you're going, what do we do? But the reality is so many people out there have already made up their mind, and they made up their mind before the first that Adam Schiff did. Just like people made up their mind with Trump the moment he got elected, that they wanted him gone. And there is a small group of people, but is it enough to sway anything? I don't think so.
I mean, this is the very definition of a high crime and misdemeanor, and it is very frustrating to me to hear even Republicans like Will Hurd, I think, are somewhat more fair-minded than the Jim Jordans or Devin Nuneses of the world. Even Will Hurd saying this is improper but not impeachable. Well, to Congressman Hurd, I would say, if this is not impeachable, what is impeachable? This is the most impeachable conduct I think we have ever seen from a president of the United States.
That's Max Booth right there. Here, let me tell you, people, don't understand high crimes and misdemeanors, right? You got to remember when you're explaining things to people, voters in particular, you keep it simple, stupid. One of the reasons Trump was so successful is he doesn't talk over people, talks at them, makes them laugh. They're like, that guy's funny. It's simple. Not that people are stupid. They just want it in simple terms, right? High crimes, misdemeanors. You talk about all these things. I talk to several Congress people a week. And we're always joking about the fact that when you first get there, most of these congressmen and women, they don't even know 90% of the rules, right? It's confusing to them. So when they're talking about high crimes and misdemeanors and all these things, it's, as far as they're concerned, it's just politics. It's just. They think, you're going after him for something everybody does. So it shouldn't be a big deal. Get over yourself. Goodness me, it's ridiculous. The reality is what it is at this moment in time. There's not enough independents who haven't made up their mind as far as, okay, I got to put pressure on my senator that when this thing eventually gets to the point where they voted on impeachment and the trial begins, that we can make sure that he is gone. Too many people, a massive of people on both sides have made up their mind. And so because of that, they feel like, I talked to somebody over the weekend who says, I feel like all they're doing is impeaching him as a person. Not that he's done anything politically wrong. They just don't like who he is. And I'm like, yeah, well, I get that. I understand what you're saying. He has done some stuff that is wrong here. But the question is, does it rise to the level of impeachment? That's a fair question to ask. Because you talk to two different people, right, who are in the know, and they'll give you two different answers. And it's not as easy as it looks. And remember, politics is politics, period, case closed, end of story. No matter what a politician says, they care strictly about themselves. And they can blow smoke up your ass all day, but the reality is still the reality.
And they cannot vote to support impeachment. I think it'll mean a failure by the GOP to put the country above their party. And it will have very long-term consequences if that's where we end up. And if not today, I think Republican members in the future, to their children and their grandchildren, will have to explain why they did nothing in the face of this deeply unethical man who did such damage to the country.
But the people on the right don't feel that. And I think that's what they're having trouble understanding. They don't understand Trump. They don't understand fans of Trump. They don't understand the cult-like sway he has over his base. They don't understand any of that. And they continue to try to do the same thing over and over, and there's a reason they're not getting the results that they want. Adam Schiff can spin it all day, but you're not understanding it. Partly because you haven't gone to the people and explained it into a way where you don't seem like you're a smug little boop. That's the reality of it.
If Barack Obama had done this, they would have voted to impeach him in a heartbeat with a fraction of the evidence. It shouldn't matter this is a Republican president. I hope to hell, Jake, if this had been a Democratic president, I would be among those leading the way and saying we need to seriously consider impeaching this president.
Yeah. I like that you say I hope to hell I would, because you're not quite sure you would actually do that, because that is the reality of it. I would like to think I would do something like that, but I don't know. No. You would go, what does the base say? What do my constituents say? The people who put me in power. They say if you vote to keep him in power, they'll remove you from office. Oh, okay. Well, then I'll make sure I take him out. But if it was the other way, if they say if you vote to take him out, doesn't matter. What's best for the party? What's best for me? And if we have time, what's best for you? That's the reality of politics. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I hope you're doing well on this beautiful Monday. So I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, what in God's name? Getting these alerts Friday, early Saturday. I'm like, oh my God, don't tell me this.
Anytime a justice is taken to the hospital, it is cause for concern. This is what we know so far. On Friday night, after she was here at the court participating in conference, Justice Ginsburg was at home. She wasn't feeling well. They said, the court said she came down with a fever and chills. She went to a nearby hospital here in Washington where doctors initially evaluated her and then decided, based on her symptoms, that she should actually head up to Baltimore to Johns Hopkins Hospital.
And that's where she went to Johns Hopkins Hospital. She's doing well. She's been released. She's got stage 4 pancreatic cancer. She's had numerous issues for quite a while she's 86, right? So she's had more than a few run-ins with cancer and a few other things. Thank God she's okay, because I could not imagine in this day and age what this looks like. Potentially a hearing in the Senate, which is more than likely going to happen, to decide whether or not Trump sticks around. On top of that, you're looking at a situation where, if she was to go, she's 86 again. And Mitch McConnell, remember what happened when Barack was leaving and there was a space to be filled? Mitch McConnell ran out the clock saying, we're not going to do this. Took a playbook from the Democrats, but we're not going to do this. If Mitch then decides, no, that was different. That was incoming president. We have a president that's running for a second term. He'll come up with something. And then they would have that battle. Oh, phew. That's a lot of politics. And that's a lot of negativity in one area, right? Like I went to SeaWorld this weekend. I didn't have any negativity. We're all there, the family. We're having fun. Everybody's loving stuff. They light the Christmas tree. We're having a good time. We're seeing all the critters and the fish and the whales and all the. It was awesome. There was no negativity. And I loved it. Just was awesome. And I thought to myself, please God, I don't know if we need this right now. I don't think America's ready for that. Right? We're ready for a lot of stuff at this moment in time. Not sure we're ready for that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Guess what, kids? It's getting towards that time. Oh, you know the time. Little gobble gobble time.
They got ready this year by getting used to camera, lights, dealing with all you people. They also listen to music. They really like classic rock.
Yep, classic rock, because that's what all turkeys love. I was like talking to a lot of turkeys, but so it is bread and butter, I guess, is the name of the turkeys this year. The turkey pardon. So last year was, I think, carrot and peas. This year it's bread and butter, and so we'll do that. It was a crazy day at the White House of all kinds of stuff. You've got that, and then on top of that, you had Conan the dog was there to get his little award and to celebrate Conan the dog and how amazing he was.
They did a fantastic job. Conan did a fantastic job. And we're very honored to have Conan here and to have given Conan a certificate and an award.
Yeah. So he got a certificate. Yep. He got a 50% off PetSmart, valid next week, and an award. Big bone. It's craziness. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. I hope you had a good weekend. It is gobble gobble weekend. If you're traveling, be prepared. Know this. It's going to be ugly out there. It's going to be long lines out there. And it's going to start tomorrow. Yeah, big time.
On the busiest days during the holidays, TSA expects screening up to 40,000 passengers per day. We expect the busiest days will be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday.
So be prepared. Know that you got to get there a few hours early, and it's going to be a nightmare. Everybody's in the same boat you are. It's the reason I don't travel this time of year, because it's craziness. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, your Twitter. Tweet at me. Raycons. All right, so they got the Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals. Massive, incredible deals on their earbuds, their headphones. Raycon is incredible. If you've not got any earbuds, or maybe you bought some, you weren't thrilled by them, don't spend a ton of money. I've seen all the Black Friday deals. They don't even come close to this, and I have worn just about every headphone you could think of, and some that you can't. And I will tell you this. Raycon blows them away. The brand new E25 model. Best one yet. 6 hours of playtime. Seamless Bluetooth pairing. More bass. More compact design. Gives you noise isolating fit. You will love them. Very comfortable. Great for taking phone calls, on the go listening. You're going to love it. Stylish and discreet. No stems, no dangling wires. Get yours now and save big. Go to, are you ready for this, kids? 15% off. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. There you go. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson, Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
I want to begin by thanking you all for the well wishes. I did have a heart attack, but you want to know by now, I'm doing better than ever. Doctors were surprised I made it. And I'm very proud of the fact that I was the first heart attack patient to show up to the emergency room in a city bus.
Larry David over the weekend. Saturday Night Live roasted the Dems, which I was surprised they did. It was interesting to watch. Some of the stuff they went after was hilarious. Again, Kate McKinnon playing Elizabeth Warren.
Look, I know in past debates I've been accused of being overambitious, right? I got mom hosting Thanksgiving energy. I'm a little overwhelmed because I thought 10 people were coming and now there's 30 million. But I promise dinner will be ready if you just get out of the kitchen and stop asking questions.
It was good. It was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. There was the usual cast of characters, and Woody Harrelson again did just a great job playing Vice President Biden. Maya Rudolph, Kamala Harris was great, and Will Ferrell played Tom Steyer. And there was a exciting moment when the one and only Michael Bloomberg, played by Fred Armisen, showed up.
Does this mean you're officially running for president?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I'd be hard to beat. I'd love to see those Trump supporters come up with a conspiracy theory about a Jewish billionaire with his own media company. Good luck making that stick.
And Bloomberg is running. We'll touch on that a little bit. But the interesting thing about that is he does have a media company. And because of that, he has went out and told his staff, I guess, don't worry about covering me. Just do your job. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We're going to talk a little bit more about him. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Just hot off the presses. So Don McGahn, who is, right now he is White House counsel. A judge has ruled that he must comply with a House subpoena and testify. Don't know what that means. Usually it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're the president or a normal person, you should have some sort of executive privilege or privilege in general. Client attorney privilege. We'll see what they're going to ask him, how this actually works. But it's going to be very interesting because, again, more and more is coming out day after day. But as we've talked about it, does it really matter at this moment in time? Do people even care? Or have you just all made up your mind? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Hong Kong votes. Huge break-in in Germany. Oceans 11, 12, and 13 indeed. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I think that maybe the press isn't treating Rudy very well, and I think that's unfair. But Rudy was a great mayor and a great crime fighter.
It's like there was Spider-Man, and you had Batman, and you had Superman, and then you had another cast of characters, right? And you had like the Suicide Squad, and then over here you got like Deadpool, and you got the X-Men, and there's Rudy. Rudy. Rudy
is the best mayor in the history of New York. In my opinion, the strongest mayor, the best mayor. Rudy is a great crime fighter, corruption fighter, probably the best in 50 years.
Yeah, but you have a problem, Trump, and his name is Rudy Giuliani, right? You can spin it however you want, but the reality is you have a problem. Even this weekend, joking a little bit about Rudy, because a lot of people are saying at some point in time Trump's going to throw him under the bus.
This weekend, the president's lawyer went on Fox News to say he's not worried his client might expect him to take the fall for Ukraine.
I've seen things written like, he's going to throw me under the bus. Right. When they say that, I say, he isn't, but I have insurance.
It's not the first time Rudy Giuliani has said so. He also told The Guardian he has insurance in case Trump turns on him. But Giuliani now says in a tweet he's being sarcastic.
Yeah. Well, you got to ask yourself, right? Are you willing to do something? Are you willing to go to the mat for him? Right? That's it. What are you willing to do? for Trump. Because you ask yourself, see, Rudy's got a different relationship with Trump than like the Manaforts of the world or the Cohens or some of the other people that you know, in Trump's weird sphere of, you know, people that are kind of nefarious. Rudy and him have a long history, right? It's like one of those things where they do have a long history and it seemed to be, you know, pretty tight. So the reality is maybe, just maybe, he's willing to go to the mat. Or maybe he does have some insurance because he's not willing to go to the mat to the tune of umpteen years. They're investigating Rudy all over the place. Today, guess what? They subpoena Rudy. They would like to know his records. They want to see a lot of different things. You've got this guy that he was working with, this Les Parnas guy, who is now saying, hey, you know what? I got all kinds of stuff. Here you guys go. I got video. I got audio. I got all kinds of things. Take a look. I got stuff. You're like, ooh, he does have stuff. Yeah. Does it mean anything bad is going to happen to Rudy? No, I don't think he's going to die. This isn't the Clintons. But do I think that he potentially could be in a situation where, just maybe, people are going to be asking questions that may make him uncomfortable? Because they're also looking into whether or not these guys are trying to do a side deal a la Hunter Biden for state-sponsored Ukrainian gas. Oh, man. Yeah, there's a lot to it. I still think he has a problem, but does it mean it's going to take him down? Probably not. Unless there's some stuff here that is just so egregious that even the most hardened Trump supporter would look and say, we can't. This is too much. We can't. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. This is kind of interesting.
They're asking Lindsey Graham. They have him under their thumb right now. He knows if he comes out against Trump, he's got a real tough road for re-election. I am disappointed, and quite frankly, I'm angered by the fact he knows me. He knows my son. He knows there's nothing to this. Lindsey is about to go down in a way that I think he's going to regret his whole life. I'm just embarrassed by what you're doing for you. I mean, my Lord.
And there's a lot of like trying to shame people into you know, oh, you should, you know, vote against Trump and you should try to, you know, be on this side for impeachment because otherwise you're a bad person. And I don't want people to look at you the rest of your life as a scumbag and a horrible person. But here's the reality of a lot of this stuff is it's politics, right? Just as you guys are coming for Trump, they're trying to protect Trump, which is politics. Just like you protected your president at the time, Bill Clinton. Yeah, William. Call me Willie. Big Willie. Slick Willie. Whatever you want to call me. That's it. And he came out a little while. Lindsey Graham thought, well, if that's the way you really feel about me, I'm just trying to do my job. I guess maybe we didn't have the friendship we thought. It's just so much of it is like boxing. Although that's changing. It used to be, you ever watch a boxing, right? Like this weekend, right? You know, you had Wilder versus Ortiz. They talked a lot of smack. There was a lot of smack going into it in the whole 9 yards. And it was a great fight, by the way. Ortiz was kicking his ass through 7 rounds. But Deontay Wilder has one thing that you just can't teach, which is massive power. And he knocked him out. He's like, you know what? I don't care about how many rounds somebody wins. I care about one thing. But they talk on smack. And afterwards, he's like, man, that guy's a great guy. That guy's a hell of a fighter. That guy's, there's a reason people want to fight that guy because he's great. That's kind of like, right? It used to be you're out there selling to your base minus the weigh-in. Now, though, I think it's becoming more personal even in the political world where the long gone are the days where you fight in public, but behind closed door, you're nice. You're not even getting that anymore, which is sad. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Mark McGrath, you guys don't know who he is? He's a singer, right? I think, is he still on, what was it? It was like Entertainment Weekly? Was he on E.T.? Is that what he hosted forever and a day? Right? But he was in Sugar Ray forever. And he hosted a bunch of those other, you know, television shows that you're just like, really? Really? That's what you're on? He was on Celebrity Apprentice. And then he was on like a bunch of other like I can't believe that you're hosting a show and you're talking about this, but it is what it is. Well, guess what? If you are in a position where you're just over your thing that you're doing with someone, relationship, he's your man.
It is Mark McGrath from the band Sugar Ray. This cameo was booked by Cheyenne, and this is a little difficult for me to say because it's the first one of these I've done, but she wants you to know that you mean a lot to her. You mean the world to her, but she's having difficulty staying in this long-distance relationship. So Cheyenne is trying to let you know, Braden, that it's very, very tough for her. She still cares about you a lot, and she still wants to be friends with you.
It's not over.
Good luck on your thesis coming up. Probably not the best timing, Cheyenne, when he's doing his thesis, but I understand. Life goes on, and I'm sure there's big things ahead of you in the future, Braden. But Cheyenne cares about you enough to let you know she wants you to be friends, and she knows that you're a fan of the band Sugar Ray, which I'm honored. I wish I was delivering you good news.
But no. So this is one of those cameo things. So you can get all kinds. Denise Richards, Ray Lewis. There's more stars here. Remember we started talking about this last year? Maybe it was earlier this year. Like it was kind of, I don't want to say it's the dregs, but it was kind of like people you never heard of. So you got John Ratzenberger. It's $120 for Ratzenberger. How about that? Right? That's just new this week. Right? So $120 for him. If you want him, and he is, of course, was Cliff Clavin on Cheers, and I think he's in Toy Story. Oh, there's all kinds of things. So that's the way you get broken up with now. That's the newest thing, is getting dumped by Mark McGrath. I wonder what he cost. What do you think, Phil?
I'm going to say $250.
No, he's $100. You can get him for $100 to come on here and say that basically, hey, you guys, it's sad, but I got to break up with you because you're awful. Oh, my God, D. Schneider, dude. You want D. Schneider?
How much is D?
D is $200. Rick Nelson from Cheap Tricks, only $50. I would do him for you. I would say, all right, I'm getting you this guy because you would like that. If it was Geddy Lee, you'd be all over that.
Well, when we first started talking about it, Ian Ziering was on there, and then as soon as I signed up, he wasn't available anymore.
Because he gets let's see if he's still on there, because they come and go. It's interesting how many. Yeah, he's unavailable. He's so booked. There's only so much you can do, man. We got to get ourselves a Chad Benson. Which one will we do? Oh my God, Chris Hansen's on there. That's where he's gone to, kids. Gilbert Godfrey, maybe. Oh, I love this. We got to figure it out. Debbie Gibson. Oh, Flavor Flav. I would like Flavor. He would be hilarious. I would, who would I like to sign up? Tom Arnold. And all I want him to say is, I love Donald Trump. Because he hates him so much. Oh, my God, that'd be great. Steve Gutenberg signing. There's Artie Lang. Who would like one? Oh, Jonathan Goldsmith is on here, producer Phil. If you don't know who he is the original most interesting man in the world.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, he's 250. Johnny Damon's on here. You made how much money? $500 million gazillion dollars playing baseball, and you got to be on here? Like, I understand some of these people I've never heard of. Andy Dick, like, this is his only job. He's $99, by the way.
Scaramucci's $100.
Is he? Ryan Cabrera, Lance Bass. You want Lance Bass? You got him. There's all kinds of folk. Melissa Gilbert's on here. Little House on the Prairie. There's some real people on here, too, like William Fincher. I love him. He's a great actor. Why are you on here? Kareem? Are you hurting? I feel like you're hurting. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Amber Rose is on here. She's 200, right? Jonathan Lovitz. There's a bunch of people on here. I'm like, really? Aaron Carter. Corey Feldman's $202. Are you kidding me? So far, the most expensive person is Dennis Rodman. Probably because he'll just actually come to your house and whatever you ask him to do, he'll do. Then he won't leave. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show Twitter. We got to get somebody. I don't know who it's going to be, but that's going to be our present to you guys this holiday season. MyPillow is the present that you get yourself, and I'll tell you why in a second. It's Christmas time, though, right? You're looking around, and you say, self, what am I going to do? Right? All these big sales are going on. Well, there's biggest, bestest sale. MyPillow's got something amazing. Super stock deep, and they're selling them cheap. Everything you can imagine, right? Their mattress toppers, their bed sheets, their MyPillows, and they brought back the 2-for-1. You buy one, you get one free. 60-day money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty. So when you buy one, you're like, oh, my God, here, this is for you. And then you're like, oh, wow, I've awarded myself something, too, because I've been such a good person this year. That's what's amazing about MyPillow. They're incredible. So what do? You go to MyPillow.com. There's a new radio listener special. You type in code Benson. Then you peruse around and see all the great deals. If I was to tell you to get one thing, their MyPillows are amazing. But to me, the mattress topper is the most amazing thing. But it's up to you. You do what's right for you, boo. MyPillow.com. New radio listener tab. Enter promo code Benson. You're going to get massive discounts right now. And the buy one, get one free is going on as we speak. Or call 800-944-4975 or MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. At Chad Benson Show. Twitter. ChadBenson. Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
I believe in you, Elsa.
Disney's Frozen 2 not only opened in first, the sequel set a November record for an animated film debut, $127 million. That's also the 5th highest November opening of any film.
Hello, neighbor.
It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, starring Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers, bowed in third with an estimated $13.5 million.
That's more logic.
Denied a second-place finish by last week's number 1, Ford versus Ferrari, which earned around $16 million.
Woo! The whole Hello Neighbor thing, I think, has been one of those things where it's going to stick around a while, right? Because everybody, and it's weird because it's only an American thing. Maybe Canada. I don't think they had Mr. Rogers in Britain. If they did, probably not like it is here. So there's not that big run for like, oh my God, we got to get this thing and make sure that make sure that China's happy and then like we have a map of Taiwan on the back and China of Mr. Rogers sweaters, none of that stuff. So this is very interesting to see how it does, but I just think it's going to stick around a while. I think it's just kind of got that, 8 weeks from now, we're like, oh, it's still in the top 10. It's just cruising along. It's going to make $100 million. Interesting. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. We're looking at the Cameo people. Some interesting people here. Some people I've never heard. Dr. Drew. You want Dr. Drew? Right? You get him for $198. So for $198, he will give you a shout out, if you will. Right? Stormy Daniels, she's $250. Unless you're Trump, then she's $150K. Some of these people I've never heard of. Right? I've never heard there's a lot of YouTube people I have no idea who they are. And some of them really? Who are you? I'm in the media, and I have no idea who any of these people are. Teddy Atlas, that would be interesting. He's a boxing guy. Gilbert Godfrey would always be fun because Gilbert makes me laugh. Chad! Just say Aflac sucks. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, speaking of sucks.
Taylor Swift couldn't save the American Music Awards Sunday night.
Thank you so much for being there and for caring.
Despite a lot of screen time for the superstar singer, the AMA ratings hit an all-time low in the advertiser-coveted 18 to 49-year-old demographic, down 6% from last year. But in total viewers, the show was up a tick, 6.7 million this year compared to 6.5 million last year. Still, that's well below the 9.2 million in 2017.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares because these people never go away, right? Just we're looking at this Cameo thing where we can actually order somebody to say something funny to us or, no matter who it is, Lisa Loeb, right? You saw Lisa Loeb on there. I like Lisa Loeb. $95. You got Real Housewives, you got YouTubers, you got Comic-Con and actors and all of these people, comedians and drag queens and all of that stuff. So you've got everybody. These they're never going anywhere. That's why nobody pays attention to these things, because they are doing this every day. Carney Wilson and China Phillips Baldwin. Between the two, 200 was $199. Cisco, right? What was he famous? Was that Thong Song? Was that his thing?
The Thong Song.
Yeah, the Thong Song. You get him. Like, I'm just looking around here. And, yeah, so they don't go anywhere. And because they don't go anywhere, nobody pays attention. We used to watch the American Music Awards or the Grammys or all of these things because it was the only way to really see them, right? Now you're there 24/7. I know what you're doing every single second. I know what you're wearing. Because on the way to the thing that you're going to, you're live streaming yourself talking about it. So that whole thing is kind of off. That's why nobody watches those things. Kids don't watch stuff like that anyways. They just don't. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Taylor Dane. Look at that. We'll get a little Taylor Dane in here. How about those apples that are them apples that are those apples? Text the program. Love hearing from you. Tweet at us. Check out the Instagram as well. Go to thechadshow.com. We have a podcast. Grab said podcast because, well, it's better than spending $15 on a guy that I've never heard of. Right? Greg from Bowling with Soup, which I like Bowling with Soup. I just didn't know who he was. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Congressional Democrats want former White House lawyer Don McGahn to testify under oath what the Mueller report revealed about discussions asking McGahn to intervene in the Mueller investigation and get then Attorney General Sessions removed from office. A judge saying the president has no absolute immunity to block a congressional subpoena. The Justice Department already saying it will appeal.
Yeah, it'll appeal, and then away we'll go, and who knows where this goes. Trump was 1 for 1 today, so he lost this, but he won the tax thing, and that really matters because, I don't know, I don't really care about any of this stuff. I don't care about any of the tax thing. I've never cared about any of that. I would like to know the truth of what's going on with everything else, but I've become disheartened to think more and more on a daily basis that we just don't care about the truth. We care less, right? Because we've made up our minds that there's no way in hell that he is guilty, or we made up our mind before we ever heard the first thing that he's absolutely guilty. That's it.
What is history to others elsewhere is political ho-hum here.
I did watch it the first day, a little bit.
She wasn't impressed.
It's hard to watch it. In fact, I'm not watching it anymore.
And I just think they're not going to change my mind how I feel about him.
Whether it's an accusation of quid pro quo or bribery, no amount of witnesses or testimony, they say, will change their support for the president.
It's just a political show. He hasn't done anything wrong. We've read all the information.
Yeah, and that's the way a lot of people feel. It was the other way, too. There's plenty of people out there who, long before we ever got to this point of even talking about, they still believe he's guilty when it comes to Russia. They believe he stole the election along the way, and there's just no way to talk to people who are that sold on guilt and innocent before we've heard anything. And part of that's also the Democrats. You know, they've gone out there and they've essentially told everybody he's guilty. Now, hold on a second. Now, and then let me temper that with we've got to figure out what he's guilty of. But as soon as we know, we will let you guys in on it. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. And this entire thing, though, has done one thing that surprises a lot of people.
Well, Democrats are feeling increasingly optimistic and confident about the case that they've built against the president. But one key barometer they've failed on, which is getting Republican support. You'll recall earlier this summer, Speaker Pelosi, when she was resisting impeachment proceedings, said that one of the key barometers for her was strong bipartisan buy-in. But of course, at this point, it's not looking like any Republicans are going to be supporting impeachment, and the party as a whole will be unified coming out of this House process.
Yeah, so they're completely unified. So the hopes of fracturing, because you're saying, look at all the truth we've got. Look at all of this stuff. And people are saying, yeah, you did get that. And he probably shouldn't have done those things. And he shouldn't have said some of those things. But at the end of the day, they got their money. The investigation wasn't done. And you guys have been screaming about this for 2.5, 3 years. So it's politics. So we're over it. We're moving on with ourselves. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. With all of that being said, there is still primaries to be run because somebody's going to have to run against the Republican nominee, President Trump, most likely, barring anything crazy. Who could that be? We've already got 75 million people running, apparently. How about another one?
Mike Bloomberg started as a middle-class kid who had to work his way through college. When New York suffered the terrible tragedy of 9/11, he took charge, becoming a 3-term mayor who brought a city back from the ashes. But when he witnessed the terrible toll of gun violence, he put his money where his heart is, helping to create a movement to take on the NRA, and stood up to the coal lobby and the outright denial of this administration to protect the only home we have from the growing menace of climate change.
Yeah, so he'll be interesting. I don't know. I mean, look, here's the thing with Mike Bloomberg. Used to be a Republican. Still has a lot of Republican ideas. Do I think he would be an interesting? I think he's looking around and he's saying to himself, there's nobody in this group can beat him. Nobody in this group can beat Trump. Because if I thought there was somebody who could beat Trump, I would be stepping back and not doing this, maybe throwing my weight behind them and even some money. But there's nobody here that can beat Trump. And he says,
I know what it takes to beat Trump because I already have, and I will do it again.
He's an interesting character. Could he be a wild card in this? Yes. Here's the thing I think he can do. And, the money thing is, of course, Bernie's out screaming about it because it's always about money, 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 money.
We do not believe that billionaires have the right to buy elections.
Yeah, well. Remember, Trump didn't spend as much money. He got a lot of press because he was just Trump. And because the same media that can't stand him couldn't stand being without him. Remember the panic they had when they thought he wasn't going to show up to a few of these debates? I don't feel like I need to show up. No, why? Because they're selling the ads for like 5 times what they'd be selling for a normal ad buy. Because Trump was must-watch TV. But Bloomberg is interesting.
I will be the only candidate in this race who isn't going to take a penny from anyone and will work for $1 a year, just as I did for 12 years in New York City Hall.
Now, that sounds great. So he's not taking a penny from anyone. It's fantastic. That's great right there. That's cool. Could you imagine a sports owner who says, you know what, I'm going to build a stadium myself? That'd be great. Here's the issue. They're already pissed because he's not taking money from people. This is the funny thing. So the Dems are screaming and yelling and billionaires shouldn't be in this. And at the same time, they're asking you, hey, he shouldn't be able to buy his way, but could you give us money so we can fight him? You're like, okay. It's weird. So he's not going to take any money. He's got a $30 million ad buy right now. He's focusing on Super Tuesday. What he could do is make it uncomfortable for the uber progressives. I think he wants to put a lot of pressure on, because he looks at Joe Biden, and I don't think he thinks Joe Biden has it in him. I just don't think he does. And after you watch Joe Biden, you're like, I don't know if he has it in him either. Right? On the other side of things, I don't think he thinks that the likes of Pete Buttigieg can win. Even though he might like him, like some of the things he talks about, doesn't think he can win. And here's something else that you got to take in. He's a human being. He's a human being that has his flaws, right? He's going to stop and frisk things, going to be big. The fact that he's a billionaire and apparently success in this country is horrible. Somebody tweets at me this weekend, I can't believe another billionaire is getting in here so they can tell poor people how to live their lives. I'm like, maybe he can give some advice. That's all I'm saying. It's not a horrible thing. Maybe a little advice, because obviously what they're doing isn't working. Like, it's just, right? Like, bear with me here. It's like not the worst thing in the world. But he could force them to maybe look around and say, okay, what do we have to do? What's working? What's not working? Could you imagine, let's just say 2-3 weeks from now, polls come out, and all of a sudden he's got 3-4 points, which doesn't sound like a lot. But for a lot of these other people that didn't run in this race for a while, they would kill for that. Let's just say Super Tuesday rolls around, right? And he's got enough votes to make it uncomfortable because you're not going to get an overwhelming. You're going to look around and say, this is a fractured convention. This is a fractured convention. Yikes. What are we going to do? He could absolutely do that. He could. Because I think he looks over and goes, well, the Republicans are unified. They're coming together. Trump's obviously not going to go anywhere. That means one of these people is going to run. And at this point in time, I don't think any of them could beat him. And remember this, of all the things, he's a human being who was started with nothing and became something. And along the way, as he got to the point where he had billions of dollars, the ego, like everything else, has grown. He's a politician because ego, vanity, right? Like that's huge. That's massive. But I think like a lot of other people, they underestimate Trump's base. And do that at your own peril. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Ocean's 11, never saw any of them, but I do know this. I saw the original way back when, but today was one of those days where you're like, what took place at the Green Vault in Germany was Ocean's 11's-esque.
Now, the German newspaper Bild is reporting that a power supply was cut off at around 5 a.m. local time. What we understand from the police is, in actual fact, the alarm was sounded at 4:59 a.m. and that police and security guards were on the scene in a matter of minutes. We understand that the two robbers, entered the building through a small window into the museum. Some reports describe the thieves as, quote, strikingly small.
That's kind of funny, right? Strikingly small, itty-bitty, small little people. Yes, dwarves. Yes, little people. Yes. I don't know if it is. Maybe it's kids. They're like, hey, we should go in there and steal a bunch of stuff. What did they steal? Well, they stole a lot of stuff that matters, including priceless jewels.
These are highly valuable artifacts. The museum itself is saying that it won't put a price on it, describes them as, quote, priceless.
Yeah. But some people are putting a price.
Early Monday morning, two thieves broke into Dresden's Green Vault, one of the oldest museums in the world. They entered through a window, smashed a display case, and made off with 3 sets of diamond jewelry. And although police have not yet put a figure on it, German media speculate they may be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The thieves are currently on the run, but have been captured on video footage.
Some are saying it's $1 billion. And why jewels matter is because they're untraceable. So they can break these things up into bits and pieces and sell them off if they choose to do so. And usually robbers aren't very bright, but these guys knew, or gals, I don't want to leave the ladies out, could be you guys. These guys or gals knew exactly what they were doing, what they went for. They passed, because it's hard. It's like if you stole the Mona Lisa, you can't sell the Mona Lisa. Nobody's buying the Mona Lisa from you because they know what's going on. But if you have a bunch of diamonds and you've got all of this jewelry that you take apart and then you just have precious gems and stones and whatnot, you could sell that easy. Remember when they were looking at Epstein and worried about whether or not he's a flight risk, and they went to his house and he had all that cash, but what else did he have? He had like $20 million in diamonds. Why? Because they're untraceable. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, feel free to tweet at me, my pillow. Sleep well. I do. You know what else I do? My Raycons. So, okay, producer Phil, you will love this. So I went out today, I had my Raycons on. I was playing soccer, because I do that in between my shows. And everybody, I don't know what it is, people like want to come hang out with me and like kick their soccer ball around. Makes me feel uncomfortable. Luckily, my Raycons were blaring, and I didn't have to. But it's so weird. And then I think he thought, well, you could barely see him. And I'm like, I got my headphones. So he's like, oh. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm a huge audio freak. I live for this stuff. Raycons are amazing, right? E25s, best ones, 6 hours playtime, right? Seamless Bluetooth pairing. So boom, turn them on, connected, away you go. Run around playing today. I don't feel them in my ears. I'm listening to, not music, but an audiobook. But still, run around having a good time. It's pretty awesome that I can do that and be that far away from my phone. Noise isolating fit, which is great when you're making phone calls. Right now, you're going to get a great deal. So I've saw the Black Friday deals. Trust me, even at their best, they're still half the price of everything else. So when you see all these other ones with stems and wires and you're buying the name, you're not buying the quality. You're buying the quality. They got Black Friday deals. They got Cyber Monday deals. Get yours now and save yourself 15%. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. 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 At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, CHADBENSON. Let's trend straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old intranet. What's trending? A lot of stuff. Thanksgiving trending, obviously. Travel trending big time. The Green Vault is trending. You don't know what it is. We just talked about it. The German museum, some people say it's the oldest museum in Europe, was robbed of jewels, priceless jewels. Uber trending. Why? Because their stock took a... They lost their London license. And they're worried that they're going to lose other licenses. Yeah. Big time. How much? Wiped out $3 billion of his market cap today. It's nuts. So they lost their license. Apparently, there was 14,000 trips that have been conducted by unauthorized drivers who were using approved Uber driver accounts to pick up passengers. They have 21 days to appeal. Uber's got a lot of issues. And here's the other thing. In London, you're dealing with the cabbies. It's tough to be a cabbie in London. You have no idea how tough it is. I don't think people realize the studying, the things you have to do to become a cabbie in London, and how much those like medallions cost. Those black taxis and everything, that is expensive, and it takes a lot of time, and you work for free, and you have to walk London on foot for years and learn every single one-way street, every restaurant, everything. Then you get to ride a bike. Then you get a little scooter. Then eventually you'll have a chance to test. It is super tough. So they have a battle. Over on Twitter, let's see here. Don McGann, Mia Farrow. Is Mia Farrow okay? You never know, right? You see stuff people tweeting. Right? Mia Farrow. Whew, still alive, I guess. I saw somebody this weekend, I swear it looked just like, I thought, is that Mia Farrow? Ways to ruin Thanksgiving. Trending. Big time. Big time. Because Thanksgiving's here, and as we all know, here's the reality of it. If you want to ruin Thanksgiving, just say something about Trump or the kids or Adam Schiff or whatever. And, of course, tell the truth, MSNBC, because Andrew Yang is upset with him. The Yang Gang. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from all of y'all. Check out the Instagram as well. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
TSA suggests that passengers arrive 2 hours before domestic flights and 3 hours before international flights. Passengers can help by being prepared.
Yeah, be prepared because it's going to be busy, probably the busiest travel days ever as far as this holiday goes.
On the busiest days during the holidays, TSA expects screening up to 40,000 passengers per day. We expect the busiest days will be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday.
Yeah, we're taking off Wednesday and obviously Thursday, Friday. It's just, it's crazy. It is. This weekend, so I drive to San Diego to see Jack, and I drive through an area, Glamis, where they have, it's where I call them the flat hat people who, drive their motorcycles and their dune bugs and ATVs and stuff. And during certain times of the year, it's pretty empty because it's the desert. So, but this kicks off the season, and there were motorhomes for days. For days. People were traveling big time. So be prepared wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, it is going to be a while. And if you're flying, it could be ugly. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Colin Kaepernick, his attorney/agent says people are interested in him.
Zero. Absolutely zero. The workout last week did absolutely nothing. The league wanted to try to help out. At least it said it was trying to help out. Mm-hmm. Nothing's come of it. Colin Kaepernick's wait continues, and it looks like it's going to be continuing for a very, very, very long time.
And I think a lot of people, because apparently there were a few that were interested, and what turned them off was exactly what happened. Colin decided to change the game, move it somewhere else. All that being said, have you seen how much Nike's stock is up since the whole Colin Kaepernick thing? Remember people, I'm getting rid of Nike, getting rid of Nike, getting rid of Nike. Gonna do it, get rid of Nike. I'm just gonna do it. We're getting rid of Nike. And what ended up happening? Right? You had Trump come out and he says a bunch of stuff and it got ugly, and yet Nike stock is up huge, massively, and their profits are up big time. And the fight with the NFL, I mean, look, Bob Kraft, who's got his own little problems, if you will, came out and kind of went after Trump, which is
when they knelt. But the way it was interpreted in the marketplace, it was disrespectful of the flag.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now?
And any of us who have the privilege of being involved in NFL franchises know how great the players are and how they're different than the average Americans. They believe to be good, believing in teamwork, working together, all the stuff that all of us are privileged.
Yeah, he is. It's interesting. It's interesting him talking about that because he's been kind of a supporter of Trump, right? He's not been afraid to, teams don't want to go there. Professional teams don't want to go there. If they do at times, it's very fractured. You don't get the entire team there. There's always people outspoken. A lot of that stuff happens. And as far as owners go, they may have known Trump in passing. Trump wanted to be a part of the NFL. He came out and said a bunch of things, about all of this, and it got ugly. And he kind of came out and he took a shot at Trump about being divisive and all of these things, and still doesn't matter. NFL, get ready for this. Record $5.6 million is what it's going to cost for a 30-second spot. Don't even bother. Even if you have $20 million cash, $30 million cash, they're all sold out. Everything's gone. Sold out that quick. It's not going anywhere. Ratings are still up. Revenue's still up. Football is what it is. I'll say this, and I'll get the inevitable tweet. I'll never watch those people again because they're just they hate America, and I'm just like, you can't. It's the battle that goes on. I'm not that person that boycotts stuff. We boycott boycotts. That's about as close as we get to doing anything. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. This right here, this is a heartwarming story of a little old lady who whoops ass.
A crowd gathered around 82-year-old Willie Murphy at the Maplewood YMCA today, all of them captivated as Murphy shares the story of what she experienced Thursday night. A man knocked on the door to her home.
He was outside saying, please call an ambulance because I'm sick.
Murphy said she called police but didn't let the man inside. Suddenly,
I hear a loud noise, and I'm saying to myself, what the heck is that? The young man is in my home. Broke the door.
Broke the door. Now, here's something neat about her that you guys need to know. She's 82. She didn't sound it, but she's kind of strong.
I'm alone and I'm old, but guess what? I'm tough.
An award-winning weightlifter who just won a competition earlier this year. She grabbed a nearby table.
I took that table and I went to working on him, and guess what? The table broke.
The man fell to the floor.
When he's down, I'm jumping on him.
When officers arrived minutes later, it wasn't Murphy who needed medical attention.
He's laying down already because I had really did a number on that man.
Just love that. She whooped your ass. You got knocked out, is I think what happened. I just love it. The guy comes in the house. He goes, so I picked up a table and I went to working on him. She was doing work.
The suspect, who police say was intoxicated, was taken to the hospital. Murphy is not pressing charges. Today, she's cheered on by her friends at the gym.
She is the wrong person to mess with.
I probably weigh close to twice as much as her. I wouldn't want to tango with her. Don't mess with Willie.
Yeah, don't mess with her. She's got some guns, too. She's got some guns right there. Yeah, What'd she bring to the gun show? That's what she brought to the gun show. That's what she did. She whooped up. And she broke the table, but she's not going to press charge. She probably thinks the guy was a drunk idiot, didn't really mean anything. Who knows? But she's not pressing charges. Why? Because he learned a lesson. Don't mess with her. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. So we're getting closer and closer to something when it comes to impeachment. What is it? I couldn't tell you exactly if there's going to be a removal, because I do think there are some surprises that we've not heard about, but I don't know if it's going to sway anybody. And in certain parts of the country, that just isn't going to happen because people are they've made up their minds long before this. So why pay attention to it?
What is history to others elsewhere is political ho-hum here.
I did watch it the first day, a little bit.
She wasn't impressed.
It's hard to watch it. In fact, I'm not watching it anymore.
And I just think they're not going to change my mind how I feel about him.
Whether it's an accusation of quid pro quo or bribery, no amount of witnesses or testimony, they say, will change their support for the president.
It's just a political show. He hasn't done anything wrong. We've read all the information.
And that's the way people feel. They're not going to, because it's affirmation on information, right, that people are taking in. They're looking at this saying, okay, well, we kind of know what he's done. He came out and kind of admitted it. And so, but at the end of the day, none of the stuff that he wanted to happen actually happened. And they did get their money. Now, they're running around today because Washington Post printed or has a story. It has some quotes and excerpts from emails that are out there, apparently. It's amazing how, stuff, for all the stuff that's always supposed to be classified or should be in-house, it gets out more than anything else. It just totally does. And you could tell there's a fracture there. Just look at sports. Whenever stuff gets out in the world of sports, inside of a locker room, and it gets into the public, that is not good. But in saying that, these emails going around people inside of the sphere of the president and the White House and legal counsel about how do they justify holding back the money? When can people expect the money? What is going to happen? What do they say? It's not, if it was just a run of the mill president, we probably never know about any of this stuff, but it's not, it's Trump. So everything is combed through with that fine tooth comb, and they're looking for every single thing. And there's a right to have questions, because I think we should have questions, but does it always rise to the level of impeachment? It depends on which side of the aisle you're on.
Stephen Ennis puts it in a nutshell why Trump supporters are so casual about impeachment. It's because they believe for all the political sound and fury, in the end, none of it matters.
Democrats are obviously hell-bent to impeach the president. It's probably going to happen. It will never go through in the Senate. The Senate will never vote that way. It's just a waste of time.
Instead of being angry at impeachment hearings, Trump voters we talk to here are more or less resigned to them. They see impeachment as something to be endured simply because they elected a president others don't agree with.
Yeah. And I think that's the way they look at it. You don't like who he is as a person. You can't stand who he is as a person. You've never liked him. He's loud. He's obnoxious. He is the exact opposite of what you guys like. He's a billionaire, and he's just, by and large, an awful human being. And because he's an awful human being, we need to get rid of him. And that's the way they feel. And that's not going anywhere. That's not changing. And in large part, they're absolutely right. That is exactly how they feel about him. But that being said, it's going to happen. It's the removal that isn't going to happen. Unless there's something that Rudy has, which is always a big possibility, right? That Rudy's got something out there that's going to make everybody uncomfortable, which is very, very, very likely. There's some other stuff that we haven't seen that's out there. And he came out and joked around this weekend, well, if I disappear, I got stuff. And then this Les Parnas guy who, is part of this Ukrainian group of people that he was doing deals with. Now Devin Nunes has been sucked into it, right? Because apparently he went and tried to get information. I mean, there's a lot of different things here at play. But the voter is what matters. And Trump voter is not abandoning him. Trump voter is not leaving him. Trump voter is still there. So what's it mean? It means that we're not going to get anything different at this moment in time. They're going to hold serve in the Senate. That's a tennis term, meaning you had the serve and you did everything you can to win your serve and you won your serve. And we're going to move on to an election. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter, your Instagram as well. Car Shield. Somebody asked me today, is that Car Shield really good? I said, yes, it is. Again, you have different plans, right? I always tell everybody, look, you pick the plan that's right for you, right? You go to carshield.com, right? Use code Benson. You can save 10%. You look around. They've got all kinds of different plans there. You could even call them. Tell them, hey, I'm specifically looking for this, right? I want a drivetrain. I want my engine. I only care about my transmission, whatever it is, just the electronics in the car. Whatever you want, they've got it, but you've got to pick. Remember, you get 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. You choose the shop, right? And they get them paid directly. And that includes everything. Like, I'm serious, cover repairs across the board. Even the GPS and electronics, because in this day and age, it's craziness just to get to some of these things, let alone having a computer inside your car now. They've helped over 1 million customers, and they're ready to help you. Get covered by CarShield today. Call 800-CAR-6000. Mention code Benson. Or visit carshield.com. Use code Benson to save 10%. That's carshield.com. Code Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
The Rhodes Scholars in the U.S. include the first transgender woman, 2 non-binary scholars, homeschooled students, and some who are the first of their families to attend college. The 32 students chosen from a pool of 236 applicants will study at Oxford University in England, with all expenses paid for at least 2 years, starting next fall. More than half of those on the prestigious list are minorities.
Oh, good. All of that matters. Yeah, but are they smart? Well, of course they're smart. Well, then that's all that matters. I don't care what you identify as. I don't care that you're non-binary. I think all that should matter, right? Isn't that what we want to get in life? Is we want to get to a place where all that matters is what you do, right? You're a good person. Great. What you do is you do good work. That's it. Don't care about your color. Don't care about what you do or don't identify as. All that matters and should matter is this. Content of what's on the inside, right? Your abilities. It's crazy, but apparently that all matters. It does. Speaking of Britain.
CBS News has learned Prince Andrew is stepping aside from all the charities he's involved in, at least for now. It appears to be a drastic move, but one aimed at stopping those organizations from distancing themselves from him. So far, the palace won't comment on whether the FBI is trying to interview him.
Would you be willing to testify or give a statement under oath if you were asked?
Now, here comes all the fun part of him answering a question that, well, horribly.
Well, I'm like everybody else, and I would have to take all the legal advice that there was before I was to do that sort of thing.
Maybe I don't know, maybe kinda, maybe I don't. Look, I have to talk to a lawyer and whatnot, you know, because of the whole Epstein thing. I should probably speak with someone and do, yes, this. Maybe, I don't know. Hello, how are you?
Battling backlash after this BBC interview more than a week ago, Prince Andrew has since said he'll cooperate with law enforcement agencies investigating his late friend, convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Now the FBI reportedly wants to interview him. Royal correspondent Roy Anika.
We understand that the FBI are looking for ways to speak to him in Britain through the US Justice Department to see logistically how that could be done. And sources close to Prince Andrew have said he'd be happy to do that.
The news comes as Buckingham Palace confirmed Prince Andrew is temporarily standing back from the more than 230 charities he's involved in. Several organizations like the English National Ballet and the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra had already cut ties with him.
Yeah, they've got rid of him. But not only that, I guess he's been asked to, move, and, there's your mom, who's the queen, and, oh, yes, I'm sorry, Mom, I didn't mean to screw up so bad and stuff, hanging out with the child molested person and whatnot, who's what.
Queen Elizabeth has not commented publicly on the scandal. On Friday, she was spotted horseback riding with Prince Andrew in what was seen as a public show of support. But now she's reportedly canceled a big party she'd planned to host in February for his 60th birthday.
Privately, she's supporting him. He's her son. But, she's pretty frustrated that this has been overshadowing a huge amount of other members of the royal family, the work they're doing.
One British tabloid, The Sun, is reporting that the prince's friend, Ghislaine Maxwell, will speak with the FBI about their ties to Epstein. The two famously appear in a photo with one of Epstein's accusers. Tony?
Yes, very much so, yes. Yes, I'd like to say I find you reprehensible for hanging out with such a fellow as that awful Epstein, who didn't kill himself, by the way. And because of such things, I'm going to cancel your 60th birthday party. It was very, very naughty. If this was 1700s, we'd be okay with it, but it's not. It's 2000s, I believe. And because of that, you are a bad person, Prince. In fact, you're so bad, I'm going to make you not the prince anymore, knock you down, and your brother, Prince Edward, who nobody cares about, we're going to let him move up. Ah! What a boob. What a boob. And apparently Prince William pushed him out. You don't mess with Prince. Prince William is lining himself up. He's going to usurp his dad. Prince Charles is going to get nothing. What do you mean I got nothing? I waited around this whole time and she didn't give me a thing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Happy Thanksgiving week. By the way, that Cybertruck, right? That Cybertruck that debuted last week from Tesla, 200,000 people have already pre-ordered it. $100 to pre-order if you want to order. $100 to pre-order. No worry about the bulletproof glass. They'll get that fixed. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
This is Days of Our Impeachment, where the only thing at stake is democracy. Starring Adam Schiff.
Excitement, emotion, and none of it from me.
Who's happy that there's nothing this week? Me. I'm raising my hand right here. I am a great family thing this weekend. SeaWorld's best weekend. It was a quick turnaround to go see Jack, and it was awesome. I am beyond happy that there's nothing this week, that we got a holiday, and it's time for the country just to take a deep breath, because the reality is nothing has changed. And it's interesting to watch people get frustrated over the fact that nothing has changed.
I mean, this is the very definition of a high crime and misdemeanor, and it is very frustrating to me to hear even Republicans like Will Hurd, I think, are somewhat more fair-minded than the Jim Jordans or Devin Nuneses of the world. Even Will Hurd saying this is improper but not impeachable. Well, to Congressman Hurd, I would say, if this is not impeachable, what is impeachable? This is the most impeachable conduct I think we have ever seen from a president of the United States.
It's Max Booth right there, author, used to write for the Wall Street Journal, smart guy. And it has nothing to do with whether or not people think it was right or wrong. You can ask most people. They think what took place seems to be pretty ugly. But the reality is it's too political for them, right? It's too political. I was talking to somebody over the weekend, and we were talking about the fact that this is so political that in many cases we can't see past the politics. Meaning they've made it so political the entire time he's been president. Everything has been beyond political for what they see as where, you got the Schiffs of the world, the Nancy Pelosi's. They're talking about the bad things that Trump has done and all of this stuff, and he only does it for himself. Yet I look over there and I see that you're only doing this for yourself and for your party. That's the way people feel. People feel like if this was somebody else, right? Like if this was a Democrat, you wouldn't be doing this. That's the reality of it. Now, you can come out and say everything you want, Adam Schiff.
And they cannot vote to support impeachment. I think it'll mean a failure by the GOP to put the country above their party. And it will have very long-term consequences if that's where we end up. And if not today, I think Republican members in the future, to their children and their grandchildren, will have to explain why they did nothing in the face of this deeply unethical man who did such damage to the country.
Yeah, but in saying all of that, they're also going to explain, yes, we probably had a person there that at least morally was bankrupt in a lot of ways. He had some good ideas. Some of his actions were okay, but some of the stuff that he did was very questionable. But in saying all of that, they were very political in a lot of what they did. The way that they went about doing a lot of things pretty much said to everybody else in our party that, look, guess what? This guy, while not the best person in the world, you've made him out to be the devil. And you've made him out to be the devil, not just here, but the entire time he's been president-elect. From the campaign to president-elect to here, you've been looking for a crime because you already had the sentence.
If Barack Obama had done this, they would have voted to impeach him in a heartbeat with a fraction of the evidence. It shouldn't matter. This is a Republican president. I hope to hell, Jake, if this had been a Democratic president, I would be among those leading the way and saying we need to seriously consider impeaching this president.
Yeah, you hope to hell. But here's the thing. We all know because why it's political. Both sides put party over people. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. The baloney, we don't really. Yes, you do that. That's exactly what you do. Because it is all about that. First, you put the party there because the party will help back you so you can keep your fiefdom. And that's what takes place. People aren't clamoring from this in the streets, right? They're not. They're not freaking out about this. Everybody made up their mind long before this, and everybody knew. Look, I've known since jump that at some point in time, they were going to come for him. I thought, the Russia thing, once that fell, I thought, well, we've been through that. Now we're on to something else. And I'm here to tell you right now, if Trump wins re-election and everything stays status quo as we have it at this moment in time, maybe a little shift in the Senate, maybe a little shift in the House, the reality is that those next 4 years, they will find something else to come for him.
Critics of President Trump may see the public impeachment hearings as damning and devastating for the president. But Trump supporters, not so much. This is the deeply red panhandle of the key battleground state of Florida. Trump voters we talk to say either they don't care or they aren't watching. Have you been following the proceedings at all?
No, sir, I have not.
By choice?
By choice.
I want to see Congress get back to work on the people's business.
In Pensacola, pro and anti-Trump protests draw fewer than 30 people total.
Yeah, because they don't care. In a lot of places, people just aren't paying the kind of attention. And what they were hoping for is that at some point in time, something would click to people and go, well, this is too much. This is a bridge too far. We have gone too far here. But the reality is the exact opposite has happened. And after an initial, now slowly but surely it's starting to come back a little bit more and a little bit more. And we're in that position where we don't have 65 or 70% of the public wanting him to be impeached. What we have is what we have, right? Kind of 45, 50, 55, 45 against. Then it's 47, 53. But it never rises to a level where you're like, oh my God. And then on top of all of that, one thing I don't think the Democrats counted on.
Well, Democrats are feeling increasingly optimistic and confident about the case that they've built against the president. But one key barometer they've failed on, which is getting Republican support. You'll recall earlier this summer, Speaker Pelosi, when she was resisting impeachment proceedings, said that one of the key barometers for her was strong bipartisan buy-in. But of course, at this point, it's not looking like any Republicans are going to be supporting impeachment, and the party as a whole will be unified coming out of this House process.
Yeah. And that's why I think, could there be more? Yeah, there could be more. But at this point in time, nothing has changed. And it's not going to anytime soon. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. With all of that going on, all of that being said, so I head on down and we have a great family weekend, San Diego. It's the lighting of the Christmas tree at SeaWorld. We have this great time. Then I get an alert on my phone and I think, oh, please, God, no.
Anytime a justice is taken to the hospital, it is cause for concern. This is what we know so far. On Friday night, after she was here at the court participating in conference, Justice Ginsburg was at home. She wasn't feeling well. They said, the court said she came down with a fever and chills. She went to a nearby hospital here in Washington where doctors initially evaluated her and then decided, based on her symptoms, that she should actually head up to Baltimore to Johns Hopkins Hospital.
Yeah. She's 86. She's got pancreatic cancer. She's battling it again. And I just thought to myself, could you imagine what that would look like for just a second if something was to happen to her? So remember, Merrick Garland had the opportunity, but they said no, right? Mitch is like, no, not an election year. So if something was to happen, you could be in a situation where you could be looking at impeachment going all the way through and then the hearings, the trial. They're talking about January, early February, which takes us into our first primary in Iowa. And then after that, we could go straight into something just as contentious, which would be another selection if something was to happen to her. And I'm like, oh, God, please. No, just at some point in time, I'm kind of over it. You get it? Just one thing at a time. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. It is beyond amazing. If you haven't heard the story, it is incredible. Happened this morning. Well, this morning in Germany. It is just insane.
Now, the German newspaper Bild is reporting that a power supply was cut off at around 5 a.m. local time. What we understand from the police is, in actual fact, the alarm was sounded at 4:59 a.m. and that police and security guards were on the scene in a matter of minutes. We understand that two robbers, entered the building through a small window into the museum. Some reports describe the thieves as, quote, strikingly small.
Yes, they're strikingly small, a.k.a. little people, a.k.a. tiny people. Just what they are. Now, what do they get away with? This is important. So the Green Vault is where this is in Dresden. It is, according to them and to many, it is the oldest museum, maybe in the world, but definitely in Europe. That's the way they describe it. They have not only art there, but what they have there are jewels.
Early Monday morning, two thieves broke into Dresden's Green Vault, one of the oldest museums in the world. They entered through a window, smashed a display case, and made off with 3 sets of diamond jewelry. And although police have not yet put a figure on it, German media speculate they may be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. The thieves are currently on the run, but have been captured on video footage.
And they're strikingly teeny tiny. So they're estimating in between $500 million and potentially $1 billion. The only saving grace at this moment in time was that a couple pieces of big jewelry were on loan, including a 41-carat green diamond, which is at the New York City Metropolitan Museum of Art. Now, check this out. One of them they think they took was a 648-carat sapphire, which was a royal gift from Russian Tsar Peter the Great, a golden coffee service made in 1701, and a 25-inch figure of more encrusted with precious emeralds and other jewels. And why are jewels important? Remember the whole Epstein thing? When they went to his house and they saw the stuff he had diamonds, because diamonds and jewels are pretty much untraceable. So they're worried that they're going to damage them by taking them apart and then going out and selling them. And you're not going to be able to get those back. That is insane. It's totally Ocean's 11. It is. We were thinking about what are the best heists. This could be up there. For all the talk of stealing people's data, this was just old-fashioned stuff, right? This was like an next to a train robbery. This is pretty awesome. Could you imagine robbing a train now? What'd you get? Like 80 debit cards? Nothing? These people are on a train. What are you going to get? It's like robbing a Greyhound, right? What'd you get? $63 and a loose cough drop. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. And hepatitis B. Oh, Chad. Why'd you say that about? I don't know. I just said it. You know what always makes me laugh? Producer Phil, you'll find this funny. I love the Amtrak trains. Buses. I love those. I just think it's hilarious that there's a bus with Amtrak on the side of it because they don't go to wherever you took a train to take a bus. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show Twitter. All right, kids, getting close to the holidays. Who's excited? So this weekend, I did not sleep well until I got home last night. Then I passed out. And let me tell you something. We were up super early. I drove almost 1,000 miles. We went to SeaWorld, and I still had a tough time sleeping. And the problem is, and I'm going to say it right now, I love my Go Anywhere pillow, but my mattress topper from My Pillow is amazing, and it makes it hard to sleep even on good beds that don't have it. So now's your chance. Get all of these amazing things, huge, deep discounts. Go to MyPillow.com. Click on the new radio listener special. Click. When you do, type in code Benson. They've also brought back the 2-for-1. So you buy one MyPillow, get a second one free. What's that mean to you? Simply, you buy yourself a gift and give somebody else the other one. 60-day money-back guarantee, a 10-year warranty. You will love it. They treat you amazing, and their products like the MyPillow, the Go Anywhere pillow, the sheets are absolutely incredible, and the mattress topper, you hear me talk about it, it is amazing. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the new radio listener tab, enter code Benson, MyPillow.com, code Benson, Chad Benson Show.
No need to fear. We promise we won't give you a noogie and make you cry Russia, Russia, Russia.
Who is the fearless leader?
Fooey.
Fooey and double fooey.
What is your language? This is a family show, remember?
Fooey to families too.
Nostrovia. This is Chad Benson.
Conan came over from the Middle East, just arrived with some of the great people from the Special Forces that did the incredible it was a flawless attack.
Flawless. We got him. Super flawless. Conan is the dog, you remember? Remember the dog that was part of the whole big attack and going after ISIS, and we got their head dude, the bad guy, we got him and just totally killed him, and he was part of it. And then nobody was supposed to know who the dog was, and then Trump let it slip at some point in time. Again, that's why we know there's no aliens, because Trump, or they just won't, that's like one of the things they won't tell Trump. They're like, look, we cannot tell him because he can't keep a secret. He cannot. So he can never know about any of this stuff. But Conan's apparently at the White House. It's a day of animals at the White House.
We just gave Conan a medal and a plaque. And it's really, and I actually think Conan knew exactly what was going on. But a dog that is very, very special.
Yeah, very, very special dog. And again, it is a day of fun and frivolity at the White House. Because on top of that, bread and butter are at the White House. Because today is the day that we bring them turkeys there, and we get ready to pardon them.
If you're a turkey grower, this is about like you people in the media winning a Peabody or a Pulitzer Prize. You know, this is about the top and it's about as good as it gets. And I kidded with my wife, I said, we're going to get to grow the presidential flock, but don't expect a whole lot after that. That's pretty much it. Everything here is going to be down here from here on.
Including our marriage.
They got ready this year by getting used to camera, lights, dealing with all you people. They also listen to music. They really like classic rock.
Of course they do. I wonder what kind of music they like. What kind of classic rock you think bread and butter like? Right? Are they deep track turkeys? Are they going like super deep? They're like, you know what I really like? I like the Eighth Cut, right? Boston's third album. Like super deep. What's classic rock? It's like one of those people in the know that's too much know, right? Like are they into Rush? Those would be your kind of turkeys, Phil. You couldn't kill those turkeys.
You'd be into wavy gravy.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. But they're ready, kids. They're ready. So bread and butter will be pardoned. We were talking off the air. Producer Phil's like, wouldn't it be great if it was just such a Trump thing? We're going to eat the hell out of these things. I don't know what you guys are talking about pardoning. I see two big fat birds there that we got to eat. Sorry, people. Right? I'm a meat eater. So we're doing this. He takes out the thing, puts on one of those white aprons, puts on some rubber gloves, takes out a big thing just in front of everybody. And you're like, oh, some people will be like, ha ha. Other people would be just like, we have to get rid of him more than ever before. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Democratic field got a little bit bigger and a little bit richer too. Touch on that. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
God's used imperfect people all through history. King David wasn't perfect. Saul wasn't perfect. Solomon wasn't perfect. And I actually gave the president a little one-pager on those Old Testament kings about a month ago. And I shared it with him. I said, Mr. President, I know there are people that say, you said you were the chosen one.
I am the chosen one.
You were. I said, if you're a believing Christian, you understand God's plan for the people who rule and judge over us on this planet in our government.
Well, what he said, I don't know about him being the chosen one. What he said is real. Because, if you read the Bible and you believe in it, yes, God used a bunch of people that were essentially, hey, like everybody thinks you're kind of like scummy and horrible. Yeah. Well, you're gonna go out and do stuff, and I'm going to use you because you are busted up. Right. But while you think he may be the chosen one, remember who said this?
The President of the United States is in danger of losing the mandate of heaven.
I don't know who to believe now. Mandate of heaven, losing it because he didn't do what he was supposed to do, right? Abandon the Kurds, or he's the chosen one. And I thought LeBron was the chosen one. That's what I heard. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. I continue to say this over and over again with all of this craziness going on. Trump still has one problem that's out there, even though they're unified, and that is a Rudy problem.
This weekend, the president's lawyer went on Fox News to say he's not worried his client might expect him to take the fall for Ukraine.
I've seen things written like, he's going to throw me under the bus.
Right.
When they say that, I say, he isn't, but I have insurance.
It's not the first time Rudy Giuliani has said so. He also told The Guardian he has insurance in case Trump turns on him. But Giuliani now says in a tweet he's being sarcastic.
Yeah, I don't know if he's being sarcastic. I think any time in a situation like that, yeah, you know what? You are you've got some stuff that's out there as a just in case. Right? I think we saw that this past week with the likes of Sondland and a few others is, you know what? I'm going to, do I have some stuff? Yes. Do I want to be here? No. But am I going to go to jail for you? Am I going to be in trouble for you? And I think a lot of people out there would say no, because what do you get out of it? Well, he could pardon you. He could. Right? He could pardon you. Maybe. But the reality is why would you do that? Right? Even if you don't have that thing that can convict him, are you willing to take a chance? And for Rudy, I think he's got a lot of issues. I think he's got a lot of people around him that weren't very good. I think he's being, he's already being investigated because they're trying to do an oil and gas deal themselves, which is pretty dang scummy. And that Les Parnas guy has turned over a bunch of videos, audio, pictures. I still think and continue to think he's got himself a Rudy problem. What that looks like and what, quote unquote, sarcastically he has or doesn't have, I couldn't tell you. But I do believe that there's a lot more out there. And I don't think we'll see it with Adam Schiff and them. I think if we see any of that stuff, it's going to be potentially in the trial in the Senate. Speaking of politicians, field got a little bit bigger.
Mike Bloomberg started as a middle-class kid who had to work his way through college. When New York suffered the terrible tragedy of 9/11, he took charge, becoming a 3-term mayor who brought a city back from the ashes. But when he witnessed the terrible toll of gun violence, he put his money where his heart is, helping to create a movement to take on the NRA, and stood up to the coal lobby and the outright denial of this administration to protect the only home we have from the growing menace of climate change.
You know, so he's out there. I don't, again, people are coming hard for him, right? Already. They're ready to take him on because he's got money, and even, Kamala Harris came out and said, well, he's got a lot what if other people don't. He spent $30 million. It's a drop in the bucket for him on this. Do I think anybody's scared? You know what? I think some people are worried. Worried about, and he says he's focusing only on Super Tuesday states. So that's where his money is going to be. He's going to focus big time on Super Tuesday states. He wants to make enough noise. And I think that the potential for there to be an unsettled, right, fractured DNC by the time that they get there and they don't have a front runner is very, very real.
We do not believe that billionaires have the right to buy elections.
No, I don't think they do. Right? I don't think they have the right to buy an election. But what they have is the opportunity to spend money. You're asking for money. Here's the beauty of somebody like him. You're asking for money. He's got money. Well, that's not fair. Well, but you're asking for money. He's spending some of his own money. I'm okay with that, right? You want to spend your own money? Yeah, knock yourself out. That's what you really want to do? Knock yourself out. Right? You want to spend your own money? Go ahead. You do you. We'll see how it goes. Somebody tweeted at me this weekend when I said that he's officially getting in the race. They said, great, another rich person telling poor people how to live. And I said, would you rather have poor people telling everybody else how to live? Well, no, but that's just not right. Well, you're okay with everybody else telling everybody else how to live. You should live your own life, right? Successful people. It's not bad to be a success. And I think that's what Cory Booker tried to point out last week, that I think he did so in a much better way, is we need to stop demonizing people who are successful, because it feels that way. It feels like, hey, you're successful? Well, it must be because you jumped on somebody's throat, stomped on their head, robbed them, and then forced them to work for free. The one thing about Bloomberg is he's going to talk about, he's got some missteps, in particular, stop and frisk, right? He's got some missteps with some of the craziness when it came to, limiting the size of, what kind of drink you could get and those kind of stuff that he's going to have to really answer for. But when it comes about, dealing with success and becoming the quote unquote American dream, he is a lot of that. He is absolutely a lot of that. But this is hilarious. So Saturday Night Live did their thing this past weekend. And speaking of Bloomberg, because Bloomberg today, I guess they sent out an edict, because obviously he has a media empire, essentially saying, I'm distancing myself. You guys do whatever you guys need to do. As far as coverage and this, that, and the other, I don't want it to be I don't want my media empire to be about me. And over the weekend, Fred Armisen played Bloomberg on Saturday Night Live, and it was hilarious.
Does this mean you're officially running for president?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I'd be hard to beat. I'd love to see those Trump supporters come up with a conspiracy theory about a Jewish billionaire with his own media company. Good luck making that stick.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that goes. But we'll see. I mean, here he is. He's in. That's the reality of it. He's going to spend some money. He's going to focus in certain places and see if he can. I think if they go in there with an undecided undecided at all. Meaning, so-and-so has only so many. These over here, they've won so many primaries. They've placed themselves in positions where they go inside of the primary, and it's completely undecided. And they're not the primary, but the DNC, right there in the convention. They're going to have to figure it out right there. I think he thinks he's got a chance. Would it be interesting? Yeah, I think it would be. Do I think he has a chance? I think he has a chance as good as anybody else at this point in time. Because I think there's the reason he's getting in is because he's looking around and he's frustrated, like a lot of people are on the Democratic side, that there isn't that person, right? That there isn't that person that is running away with it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Love hearing from each and every single one of you. Feel free to tweet at me. So if you guys have you not heard the story about what is going on with the Navy SEAL, it is just getting weirder and weirder. But this is just, it's again, another situation where you've got the president involved. You've got people looking at things differently. You've got just people who are uncomfortable with the situation, people resigning. It's nuts.
The Navy's top official, Secretary Richard Spencer, forced out. Secretary of Defense Mark Esper demanding his resignation over the handling of the case involving Navy SEAL Eddie Gallagher, saying in a statement, "I have determined that Secretary Spencer no longer has my confidence to continue in his position."
Yeah, went around his back, Mark Esper, and this all has to do with a Navy SEAL who was acquitted of murder and war crimes, but found guilty on one other thing, and they wanted to strip him of his pen and of his Navy SEAL pen. And Trump has kind of stepped in, as he did over the last week or so, on a few soldiers when it came to crimes and kind of in-house stuff.
Esper is going to allow Gallagher to keep the pin. He will retire as a Navy SEAL. He says that he has long had a position that these things should play out within the military justice system, and we know that he's been an advocate for that.
But it's been ugly. And again, the president coming out saying, look, you know what? We want this guy to keep his pin. We don't think he did anything wrong. He posed with a body. The body was a 12-year-old ISIS fighter. I mean, it's not a good look. And people are upset about it. And you have a lot of people in the military who are upset about it. But then you also have to understand that this is the commander-in-chief. So it's another situation where it's like, really, this is crazy. Like, this is the way this thing's going down. And he feels like the SEAL, Gallagher, feels like this is just a hit job on him and a political hit job at that. And so will we ever know the truth? No. But once you have people fighting with Trump or against Trump, doesn't matter where it is. Military, politics, right? He could be, at this point in time, I think Trump could just have there's going to be something that comes out about the damn turkeys that are visiting today. Bread and butter. Yeah, you didn't hear what happened? Yeah. Trump pardoned him. And then Chuck Schumer decided, nope, he's going to try him there. And then all of a sudden, Mitch McConnell got involved. It's like, it's that crazy right now. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Election year, not too far away. Who's working for you? How about AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens? Great. They are. They're amazing. For somebody who is, I'm looking at my life and I'm thinking to myself, who's out there fighting for me? I do a lot, but I talk to a lot of other people. They don't know what it's all about out there, DC. You need somebody to represent your beliefs. You do. Whether people want to believe that or not, you absolutely do. Somebody's out there fighting for Social Security. I'm under no illusion I'm going to get Social Security. I'll live to be a million. I'm under no illusion. Why? Because it's going to go insolvent if we don't do something with it. Right? Medicare. Look what's going on there and the fear about what may happen with Medicare, not to mention immigration. We have no common sense immigration reform. That's where AMAC comes in. They're out there fighting for you. And on top of that, they got amazing benefits. Retail, restaurant, hotel discounts, amazing discounts. And I travel a lot, so I know amazing discounts to movies and everything in between. Now's your chance to join for free. The benefits are great. The cost is even greater. Right now, 1 year free. AMAC.us/Chad. Or go to 888-355-1670. You call that number, tell them I sent you. They're going to treat you amazing, and the benefits are incredible. It's 1 year. It's free. It's on me. amac.us/Chad. amac.us/Chad. Join for 1 year free on me. Chad Benson Show.
Take a fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Print free.
I believe in you, Elsa.
Disney's Frozen 2 not only opened in first, the sequel set a November record for an animated film debut, $127 million. That's also the 5th highest November opening of any film.
Hello, neighbor.
It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, starring Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers, bowed in third with an estimated $13.5 million. Denied a second-place finish by last week's number 1, Ford versus Ferrari, which earned around $16 million.
Yeah, it's because it's just about men. Man. Frozen crushed it. Crushed it. I asked Jack, do you want to go see a movie tonight too? He's like, no, I don't want to go see Frozen. No. I said, all right, cool. I just want to ask you. Right, want to make sure. Just want to make sure that whether or not you want to do it. But he said no. But still, that's big money. I think Mr. Rogers is one of those, the Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. It's one of those ones that feels like it's going to earn $10 to $12 million for the next 8 weeks. Just kind of muddle along doing its thing, because everybody that has seen it, I talked to a couple of people, it's incredible. It really, it's one of those things where you're like, this is amazing. Guess what wasn't amazing? Last night's AMA, very, very bad ratings. But there was a big winner.
Taylor Swift.
It was a record-setting night for Taylor Swift. She went home with 6 new American Music Award trophies, passing Michael Jackson as the all-time AMA winner with 29. And she won the big one, Artist of the Year.
This year, for me, has been a lot. It's been a lot of good. It's been a lot of really complicated.
Swift also took home the Artist of the Decade award and performed a medley of her hits with no direct references to a recent record label drama.
Billie Eilish.
2 wins in a performance for superstar newcomer Billie Eilish, who took home New Artist of the Year.
Thank you to my team, my creative team, for letting me do whatever I want.
Yeah, including wearing a bead, like a pearl beaded beekeeper hat to the thing. It's so bizarre. So weird. It is. You know what's weird is Taylor Swift has that many AMAs. That's nuts. So you already beat Michael Jackson. I mean, Jackson died. He was only 50 when he died. But still, you'd have figured he had more. But he didn't put out music like they do now. She pumps it out all the time. It's always music. That's all they do. So I was reading a great story today about K-pop, because another one of the big stars. Now, K-pop is pop music and is Korean pop music. It's like our music, kind of like, and the boy bands kind of all fused together. And another big K-pop star, she committed suicide, I guess, over the weekend. And this has been happening. But there's a great article in the Scottish Sun talking about the fact that the stuff that they do. So you go through a recruitment as early as 10. You're put on diets. They'll weigh you in the middle of the day. They'll weigh you at the end of the day. The things that they put these kids through to become stars. You're watched 24/7. The contracts are just absolutely scary, right? They're like, you heard for years, like, okay, if you win American Idol, the contract isn't really great for you, right? But at the same time, it's giving you also a platform, so it's kind of hard to bitch. This is 24/7. You are monitored. It's like an education camp, right? Like a Chinese education camp, but it's for pop stuff. They make you work out. They do all of this crazy stuff. And it's nuts. And it breaks them. It absolutely breaks them. But they have a conveyor belt, just another one. Because you know what? There's somebody who wants 400 million views. So they're willing to go through that, because they always think, it's not me. Don't worry, I'm different. I'll become a star and I'll break out of this. I'll become a star. I break out of this. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Man, you read some of these things about these kids, and you're like, man, Don King was nothing compared to what these kids are going through and the way that he locks it down. Nope, not even close. Chad Benson Show.
This is The Chad Benson Show.